Letitia's Third Eye POV. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Welcome to the channel, and thank you for watching. Culture Vultures in black and white. Warning: the following images and/or content may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
Culture vultures. Culture vultures. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear that phrase? If you're like me, and I'm guilty, the first thing I think of are how the Caucasoid will take on the melanated people's physical attributes or different cultural traditions, styles, their swag. So that's typically what comes to mind for most people. But in doing this video, I learned a lot more and ended up realizing after my research that we pretty much all are culture vultures. So a culture vulture would be someone like, let's say, not just a Caucasian person, but let's say there's a melanated person that's rocking Chinese tattoo, or let's say a Middle Eastern trying to get their eyes slanted, right? There are people who go to that extent that will pay for something like that, right? And so the term culture vulture, it can actually be placed on any of us. And so when I realized that at first doing this upload, I was like, wow, I can't just call out the Caucasoid, because we've all, at some point, not everyone, but collectively, we have been a culture vulture. And so that is something we have to understand. We're all, at some point, a culture vulture. But one thing that I wanted to do with this video was to point out how culture vulture, cultural appropriation, and cultural assimilation all go hand in hand, though. And so, yes, we do have culture vultures. In practically every ethnicity, there is someone that is trying to adopt another culture's way of life and make it their own. It's just, it is. It's what it is. We're all guilty of it. Cultural appropriation, however, is when the members of a majority group adopt cultural elements of a minority group in an exploitative, disrespectful, or stereotypical way. So that may be where you see who they're calling the majority group, which I beg to differ, is the Caucasoid, wearing a Native American's headdress. Or let's say they're walking around in a poncho and sombrero, right? You may even see them in Asian garb. That would be what is defined as cultural appropriation, where the quote-unquote majority group adopts other cultural elements in an exploitative way. Now, cultural assimilation is completely opposite, and it should never be mistaken for cultural appropriation. So cultural assimilation is the process in which a minority group, which would be quote-unquote someone like the melanated people, which of course I beg to differ, but I digress. The minority group or culture comes to resemble a society's majority group or assimilate the values, behaviors, and beliefs of another group, whether fully or partially. And typically cultural assimilation is by force. So let's say when the colonizers came to America, which was once Turtle Island, and they took over, they committed genocide, mass genocide of my people, and basically forced slavery, they forced labor, they forced us to speak their language, they forced their own culture on us, They didn't like our hairstyles. They made us cover it up. In some instances, we were later forced at some point to straighten our hair in attempts to obtain some type of employment, because otherwise it would be hard pressed for you to obtain employment without changing up how you appear to the majority group when you went for an interview. So cultural assimilation is by force. Now, the reason I did put in the particular slide cultural assimilation turned to self-hate is because it is my opinion that we are no longer required to assimilate. Of course, we have assimilated in a lot of ways. We've lost a lot of what we knew. We lost our language. We were robbed of it. I hate to even use the word lost. It was stolen from us. We weren't even able to speak our own language here. If you were caught speaking your language, you could be deleted. And so there are things that we were robbed of that we will just never get back. And unfortunately, we are forced to assimilate in those regards. But with regards to this particular video, I'm focused on our self-hate, where we don't feel like we can be our natural self, in our natural state that we know. And of course, this is an information age, so there's no reason that we have no idea what our natural state was. There's no reason that we don't know how to be natural, like our natural hairstyles, for instance. So nowadays, I see how we are trying to fit in with the quote-unquote majority of society, which is supposed to be the Caucasoid. And so in trying to fit in with these colonizers, what troubles me is some of the links we go to fit in. For instance, we have some of us that are bleaching our skin, and we still have people putting hair relaxer perms on. Like, these are things that can cause lifelong health issues. We also see some of us are changing our physical appearance, like our noses. And so that's what I want to make sure we touch on and focus on in this particular video, is to learn how to love ourselves, love the skin we're in, love our natural state, love who the universe created us to be. And I'm hopeful that you can take away from this video and understand where I'm coming from, and also do some self-reflection, because if the Caucasoid is now attempting to appear like the melanated people, why are we still attempting to look like or fit in with the Caucasoid? So once we start to realize how beautiful we are inside and outside as others see us, then maybe we will let go of the need to quote-unquote fit in with a colonizer. Please share, like, and comment on this video, and let me know what your thoughts are.
Y'all sub up to Letitia too, cause she be dropping that real shit.
Yeah, shout out to Letitia.
Letitia, third eye POV, bless up. I'm talking about you putting in the work.
Letitia's third eye point of view.
Shout out Letitia.
Oh yeah, especially my sister Letitia, boy. She's already here.
I'm about to shout out Letitia. Now you're feeling to Letitia's quick hand. Shout out to Letitia, y'all. Those editing skills are very sharp. I'm loving it. Subscribe to her channel.
Letitia's be getting them.
Yeah, Letitia page is lit.
Go sub up to Letitia, so show the sister some support.
Yo, definitely sub up to Letitia, third eye POV. Facts. Make sure y'all sub up.